Video number 4, Linux Essentials, Chapter 7, looking at navigating the file system. So hopefully you already know what a file system is, but have a look at the information on this slide. Everything is considered a file, even directories, and then it goes through to everything is a file descriptor. A file descriptor being part of the operating system, the part of the operating system that actually deals with commands and files and makes the whole thing work. And then Linus Torvalds even had an opinion on the whole idea about what the file system was and what a file was. But from that perspective, you guys might recognize a Windows file system. You might recognize a Windows directory structure. I suppose that's the thing. Windows directory structures, Linux file systems. You could use the terms interchangeably, but just think about Windows, think about Linux, and be aware that they do the same thing, which is have files and directories and all that sort of thing, but they do it from a different perspective. Like with Windows, you have C:\/ for the drive, and then it would be something like Windows /system32 robert.dll or something. So there would be the drive letter, the directory, the subdirectory, the file name, and the .file type. In Linux, everything comes off a /, which is known as root. Then you get directories underneath that the operating system sees as files, and then subdirectories and subdirectories again. But that's the kind of thing that we're looking at the moment, the structure of files in terms of directories and files, and where and how everything fits together. So there's your root, your /. And so one thing that you might do is you might use the ls command to find out what is inside the root. Now, from that perspective, if we go onto our Debian machine that we've had running at different points of different videos and all that sort of thing, and we go in ls, what it will do is it will do a listing of the current directory, which, as you guys will obviously remember, is my home directory. Now, if we want to do a listing of the root directory, can you see things look slightly different? Now, all users have a home directory, and as you can see from that image there, you've got the root, and underneath that, home directories can be found alongside other directories. A home directory is where you store your own stuff, and there's subdirectories inside your home directory as well. But nonetheless, there's the whole idea about that tilde, which you've now seen a few times. But from that perspective, here's a command that allows you to find out where you are, and if you are ever unsure as to where you are in terms of where your prompt is pointing you, if you just don't remember or can't work it out, present working directory, or PWD, will tell you. And as you can see, the present working directory, the home directory in this instance, is home sysadmin. Of course, there's a sysadmin user account. Of course, if we went over to my machine and typed in PWD, it would show us where we are on this system. I'm sure though you can see the difference between what's going on here, what's going on here, and I'm sure that you're happy with it. So some commands are more useful than others. CD change directory is very useful indeed, and as you can see here, it's giving us a relative path to the next directory inside the current directory, which is tilde, which is home sysadmin in this example. So as you can see, underneath any home directory for any particular user, there's even more directories there. Documents being one, downloads being another. Again, have a click, have a look, see what you think, but do appreciate that this is what you're changing into and out of, going up and down the directory structure to see what's what, and then you keep your information, obviously, just like in Windows, wherever you want to put it. If you're in any particular directory and you type in CD, it takes you back to your current home directory. Hopefully you can see that there. And another thing to point out is if you actually try to change directory into a directory that literally doesn't exist, you'll get an error message to that effect. Again, get used to directory structures and get used to using the CD command. Path statements. Path statements tell you where you are in the directory structure, and there's two sorts. An absolute path tells you exactly where you are, or takes you exactly to a specific place, from anywhere to anywhere. So an absolute path allows the user to specify the exact location of a directory, have a look and see what it says there, and have a look at the way that the path statement looks. Compare that absolute path to the other sort, which is a relative path. A relative path starts from where you are. So our current directory is the user's home directory, and if we want to go into documents, we can. But as you can see, we're just going straight in. There's no /. This is because we're going in relative to where we are. And also, if you remember, or at least don't forget if you're not sure, uppercase D for documents and lowercase d for documents are considered by Linux to be different things because Linux is case sensitive. Don't forget that. So if you need to type that in, you need to type it in exactly correct. Have a look and see what you think there. I'm sure that you'll get used to using the cd command the more that you use it. A good one to practice, to be honest. Dot and dot dot, or full stop, I call it cd dot dot. Cd dot dot takes you back up one directory. So as you can see here, we've gone from documents, school, arts into document school by going up one directory. There you go. Single period takes you back to the current directory, by the way. Again, if we're talking about navigating the file system, we're talking about going up and down the directory structure. So essentially, one thing that you could do with getting used to, learning and seeing is what the directory structure actually is. So let's have a look and see what we've actually got. We've got the ls command, don't forget. And we've also got lsa to be able to deal with showing hidden files as well. But if we do an ls from where we are, or an ls -l for a long listing, that's our current directory. If we go cd dot dot, what happens? Oh, cd space dot dot. Ah, there you go. Can you see that we've gone into home? If we go cd space dot dot again, can you see we've actually gone to the root? So if we type ls, it takes us back to something that we actually saw not so long ago. cd boot takes us into boot, ls -l. So those are the sorts of bits and pieces that you find inside the boot directory. cd root takes us back to the root, ls -l. What's going on there? Okay, there's all these other directories. Why don't you guys just go and have a look around? And again, if you're interested about what's going on with these bits and pieces over here, it's all in the Netacad notes. You can always use Google as a search engine to find out other things as well, but they are to do with things like permissions for files and folders. That's something that we'll talk about in the course at some point, just not necessarily right now. Nonetheless, can you see how the ls command gets you around and to be able to see various bits and pieces? And at the moment, that's what I want you guys to actually get used to. Get used to seeing what files it takes to run the file system and therefore run Linux as well. All these ls, ls-l, ls-a, there's quite a few different sorts of options that you can use with the list commands and other commands as well. Don't forget that came up when we were discussing the help content in the previous video. So spend a bit of time looking and seeing how powerful and useful the ls command is, and also the cd command. And then what we'll do in the next video is take those skills and add some more things to them so that you get more and more used to using Linux, which is what we're trying to achieve. Okay. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please spend some time practicing and going through the directory structure and seeing what is there. It will be good for you to have that information. Right, that's enough for now. Cheers. See you later.